I privated a video I made trying to explain what I found cringe about the boycott and what I wanted to see. It wasn't being listened to at all. Simply put, I found it weird that people were being added who didn't want to be part of it, and guys were being attacked for not wanting to be part of it. Okay, I am gonna say now, don't attack anyone and don't force anyone to partake in the boycott, obviously. That doesn't make sense. But this notion here, I didn't like that people were added into the list and like being so, like this is your last line defense, Spag, Habibi, I kiss your heart. But when you would have taken some time, went into this fucking page properly and understood that the fucking page ID is connected to your account, and as soon as you go into ranked, you get deleted automatically from the list. And if someone doesn't want to be part of this, doesn't want to be ever added to this by anyone else, which makes sense, or he has been added and it wants to never get added because if he plays, it gets removed on their own, then like what's the issue? What is the issue? The people get removed when they start to play the game in ranked. And when there is someone that doesn't play online because of Pakistan, that's will probably be your next talking point, I can already tell, then they can just write an email to them and say, hey, my name is this and that, I don't want to take part of this, and the ID gets banned from this page. So pretending as if there is like no thing that oh my god, and like they are so hung up on this, and they also all have the same talking points, all of these guys. Therefore my fault for not explaining initially that I have no problems with organized protest. I'm currently boycotting shit myself. No, you said boycotting is cringe. You said boycotting is cringe. You didn't say that boycotting is cringe because people are getting added. No, that was just an additional part. You didn't like the fact that there is a boycott because you said a boycott, the word itself, it's so loaded. I don't like boycott. So why do you pretend now as if you didn't have anything against the boycott and it was just misrepresented by other people? Yeah, I'm sorry, bro. I am always gonna say the truth. It doesn't matter if it is you. It doesn't matter if it is the main man. It doesn't matter if it is Speed, Kicks, if it's FDX, George Bush, fucking Michael Jordan, Trump. I don't give a shit. Someone sounds like jealous of the main man. This dude still wants to convince people to make constructive criticism when the company already showed us they don't care about player feedback. Spag makes some awful arguments here. Give constructive criticism and have Murray block you. Agree. I went on Twitter and said it seems very cringe to me, specifically because we have people signing up on behalf of other people. No, he fucking didn't. He tweeted, am I a shill if I think Tekken boycott is cringe? He even admits he doesn't know what boycott means. Dude is a heads case. He even deleted his video when he realized no one was agreeing with him and cried on Twitter, disingenuous gaslighter. Bro, when you were in my stream, you were not saying all this. You said you agree with me on adding randoms into the boycott. What's going on? I said I don't agree when people add other people into the boycott, but pretending as if people, when they are getting added, when they play, they don't get like removed. What's the issue with that? And if someone doesn't play the game online, if they are fucking from Pakistan or something, how about they just write an email, they will never get added. This is an online situation here. You wanna think when you guys getting trolled that our movement doesn't get trolled? We get trolled as well. We can't do anything about it but try to make it as good as we can. If I call that aspect cringe and you agreed with it, of course it is cringe that other fucking people add people to this web page. Did I disagree now with you? I said it is cringe, but these people are trolls, and you trying to make the whole conversation now about this 1% of the whole entire conversation is just disingenuous. This situation is cringe in isolation, yes, but there is countermeasurements to it, and that does not make the whole movement just because some fucking idiot bastards on the fucking Twitter go and take some names and put them there. Did I say anything different? Did I not say that the original tweet was not well worded? You were there when I said it. Bro, you say A and then you do B. But not once, twice. Why would you say then on your own page, yeah guys, Am I a shill if I think a Tekken boycott is cringe? Like I said, you could have talked to me. No problem. I made this video. You can make a video back, and we can also talk on stream. I have no problems with that. We can do that. Let's talk. Come. Hello?
Hello.
Yo, what's up, man?
What's good? Let me mute your stream now. What's good?
What's good, bro?
Alright, let's talk.
Alright.
Let's talk.
Okay. I think you should like have the opening word because I talked about you. So you should.
No,
like,
yeah, of course. Like, look, man. I said we have chilled before. Yeah, many times. Let me close your stream, man. We've chatted before, right? We've talked before many times about things which we find to be controversial as well. Yeah.
Okay.
And you know, obviously there has been a lot of negative emotions in this right now, and there's people saying, you know, he's Shill. He's, you know, he doesn't say things because he's afraid that he's gonna lose. If you even just scroll up in this chat that we've had here, direct, like obviously don't talk about it because it's private, but you know that's not the type of person I am. And if you look at Tekken 7, look at the last year Tekken 7, you know that I wasn't there at the finals. I wasn't there at multiple events, right?
I know.
And is that because I'm a person that doesn't like to talk, that doesn't say things when I'm an opinionated guy? You're a very opinionated guy as well, yeah? We talk. So I have my opinions, you have your opinions.
Okay.
And obviously I have my opinions on this as well. Now I explained myself when you were in my stream. I spoke about what my perspective was on it. And I said to anyone in the chat, I said, whoever's in the chat, if you have an issue with me, if you have an issue with what I said, if you still don't believe me, if you still have some inconsistency you see in what I said, tell me right now, let's talk about it. No one said anything, you know? And the only thing I remember you saying is that, okay, if it's about if you're saying that it was the cringe aspect of it, then the people being added in, then I agree with you. And I was like, okay, cool. But you didn't say anything else to me, man. Why you just said that,
but what shall I write in a shall I write a paragraph in a Twitch
comment
section?
You could just say I don't agree with you, and then I can call you.
Okay, fair enough.
Like we're doing now.
Okay, fair enough. But you know what I don't understand? Why do you say the people have not listened to what I said and just jumped to conclusions and attacked me? I watched the whole video that you made. Every single talking point, every single sentence I listened to. The thing is, people don't agree with you because you don't make sense. A boycott.
Okay, so if I say that I have an issue, if I say that I have no issues with organized protests,
okay,
right? If I say that, what does that mean?
It means that you have no problem with a boycott, but when you say that, why do you then say, am I a shill when I... What do you talk about then?
Okay, so I already agreed that I said it before as well, and I said it on Twitter, I'm sure as well. And I said it on my stream too, multiple times. I've been talking about this for the past 4 days. I said, yeah, the wording on the tweet is not good because it makes it sound like I have an issue with organized protests. Is it cringe of me to think that I have no issue with boycotts in general, yeah? And I have no issue with these things. You and I are both a party of multiple boycotts, yeah? In general, outside of Tekken. I have no issue with that shit. When it comes to boycotts, when it comes to this specific one, when it comes to this, the tweet was made after I saw Yasuka's tweet. When I saw that Harada's name, like Arslan, all this, I'm like, what is this? I hadn't even really looked into it, but I'm like, what the fuck is this, man? Is this a joke? You know? And I was like, this is cringe to me, you know? Am I sure if I say this is cringe? Look at this, you know? And so, and then when I see boycott, I think, right, that's a really, really heavy word, you know? Very heavy word because of what's happening. Obviously, it has a negative connotation, but it's heavy as well because of what's happening recently, right?
Yeah.
And, you know, it's like, okay, what's happening recently? Boycotts, the biggest...
I want to ask you something.
Go on.
You're saying it's a very loaded word. Because it stems out of what happened. So when we are in a situation where we give constructive criticism and then they do the exact opposite of every single talking point, and then we are being
including
asked,
my own talking points, by the way.
Okay,
my own.
Okay,
yeah.
And then we are being asked to keep doing the same thing and then expecting different results is for me insanity. So sometimes in life, this is just my opinion, drastic times require drastic solutions. We tried everything. People are getting banned by Murray. Murray goes through Reddit tweets, finds out the people's Twitter handles that didn't even write anything on Twitter and blocks them there as well. What do you expect us to do with people that are in the lead like that? We only can boycott.
Look, I'm not here to defend Murray. I'm not the Murray defender, yeah, and I'm not gonna explain why he's doing what he's doing, yeah. I don't know, like, you know, there's been many people who, you know, he's been pissed off at, and I'm sure blocked, that maybe didn't deserve it. Yeah, but I'm not here. I didn't block them. You know, so you're asking me. So your question is, why are you telling people to continue to be critical of the game in a constructive manner when we tried that in season 1 and it clearly didn't work? Is that your question?
Approximately. Go on.
Yeah. Okay. So that's your question. So why is Spag saying, hey guys, try to be constructive and still try to be critical? First of all, first point is that it's season 2 now. So we have a lot more to be critical about, right?
Okay.
There are more stuff that's obviously happened in season 2 that season 1 didn't even have. So we've all tried to be constructive. All of us have tried to be constructive and critical, and we all played Tekken 8 every day, you know? So season 1 has its issues, whether it was Heat Burst being homing, whether it was Heat Dash doing too much damage and allowing you to have a dumb mix-up at the end, or whatever you guys think, you know, maybe Nina, Dragunov, whatever, Yoshimitsu breaking the game. We all spoke about this and said, hey, these are the reasons why, blah, 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 blah. Some of the changes that were made in season 2, like a couple of them, you could say, okay, they made a couple good changes, right? But generally, they also made some really fucked up ones. So Dragunov, for example, back 4-3, we all wanted it to no longer be a heat launcher, but they got rid of that and then they gave him a 12 frame one instead. So it's like, okay, now we have new things to talk about. So it's important to be critical just because of that. But then it's to me logical that if a lot of noise has been made and the Steam reviews have tanked, because remember when the Steam reviews tanked before, when people went on Steam and started saying, you know, putting bad reviews on, there was an immediate response by the devs for what happened to XCC when he got banned from.
I need to say something about that. You know, this whole vibe that you are saying now, it's changed. Everyone is voicing their opinion. How did that start? The boycott is also part of it, and even people like the main man, they change their attitude and their behavior in 3 days and say the polar opposite. And good
what?
that
What did the main man say? I don't know what he said.
Yeah, he said like, yeah, it's not that bad, and Brian players will not use this headshot. I don't see a problem. Why would you block in Heat and stuff like that? And now he is the polar opposite because obviously they try to be on the majority of people. He read the room, and now the room is different. But
I never defended season 2.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. I'm just seeing it from a bigger picture. I'm not like so focused on you solely. I'll be very honest. For me, it's a very like broad picture at the moment.
Okay, but let's talk about me though, because I'm not the main man either. So.
Yeah, I know, but I didn't finish my point. My point was you brought up that they reacted when we review bombed the Tekken last time. Yeah, how did they react? They deleted the fucking comments and the reviews, and then they received like fighting game of the year. You think this is a normal and way, and then when you bring up, yeah, look, they're overwhelmingly negative. Last time they deleted the review Spag.
But I'm telling you what they did when the reviews happened, when everyone went crazy on Twitter, like all the players, like people who don't normally speak out, people like CBM, like Lowhigh, and all these guys, Knee, they all came out and said something about the XCC situation. And of course, the reviews were really bad as well. Like they started review bombing the game. That forced a reaction out of the devs to say, okay, fuck, man, we shouldn't have banned this guy. And now China's unbanned from Tekken World Tour, and actually every other country too. So what I'm saying is that had an impact. That made an impact. Are you telling me that didn't have an impact at all?
No, I'm not saying that it didn't have an impact, but I am saying that when things are having an impact, but otherwise in the gameplay aspect, you're speaking now XCC, in the gameplay aspect, things are going into a negative direction continuously, and we already had an equivalent amount of like backlash towards these people. Now it became a little bit more extreme because the situation is more extreme. So if that negative thing was less negative, but it brought something good for it, then the boycott that seems negative for you might bring something good as well. Because things that seem negative can be positive sometimes. This situation is not a negative situation.
Let me tell you what my 2 points were at the start, at the beginning of this whole thing, right? The cringe aspect I already told you about, right? Then obviously the loaded aspect of it, of the word, just because of the context of what the word is and what the meaning that it has based on recent events in the past year or two, right? So those are 2 of my issues with just the word boycott and the whole thing. I said I have no issue with an organized protest or a petition or people saying we don't want to play this game because the game is not where we want it to be and you guys didn't listen to us.
So
right?
if this page would said protest instead of boycott, it would be good?
I think for me personally, right? like if just that word is very loaded. That's what my thing was. But also, even if it was a petition and people were being added in when they weren't supposed to be, I would have said this petition is cringe, you know. So I would have said it didn't matter what it was, boycott or petition. If people were being added in against their will, I would have found that cringe, you know.
Okay,
But going back to the point of the main man, you said okay.
Yeah,
So the main
okay.
man, he said it was good and
Yeah.
bad. Sorry, good and then bad, right?
Yeah.
I didn't ever once say that it was good. When I saw the season 2, when I first loaded it up and I started playing, I played today as well. I played against a lower player who from Middle East who kept on doing back 1-4, back 1-4, back 1-4, back 1-4, and it's a legit strategy because you can't sidestep anymore, right? I have so many issues with this game, and there's issues that are in season 2 that were not in season 1 before, like more issues. Do you agree with me? There are more.
There are way more, yes. Of course, for me, season 1 was like the arcade release, as we all said, and we needed like reduction of everything, so we have the first season 1 would be season 2, but they are saying continuously they need to add stuff or add defensive options. We don't need to get anything added, we need to have the defensive options as they are and reduce the aggressive things so that you can defend at all. What's the point to add even more defensive options? You need to, in order to add defense against something broken, the defensive option needs to be broken as well. Therefore we had power crush heat engagers.
Okay, so when we saw that they made the sidestep change, that you can sidestep from into the background and the foreground.
That's good.
That's a big change, right?
That is good.
And that's a good change. So everyone was happy when they saw that. Oh, this is good. This looks like it's going in the right direction. So people are going to be positive, right? They're going to be like, damn, they might be listening here, right?
Yeah.
And then they buff a bunch of characters, which in itself, it ruins the defensive element of it. So if you give everyone a homing plus on block mid, right? Or you give Kazuya a safe mid homing move when his weakness is supposed to be sidewalk left.
Yeah.
How is that buffing defense, right? So obviously all of us are, I mean, I would personally not happy, right? So I'm like, okay. So now that there's new things that need to be discussed, and plus, I think that no matter the situation, we should always talk about that, right? Like, even if you're going to do whatever you're going to do, that's my point. Like, if you're going to do a protest, if you're going to just stop playing the game, whatever you do, like I'm saying, guys, just keep saying something, because I feel like with the reaction based on the Steam thing and just based on history because of what XTC happened, when the XTC situation, everyone came out and was like, this is wrong. And people that never spoke before, by the way, people who are waiting, their season 1 is the arcade release, let's wait for season 2. Those guys are speaking now as well, because they never spoke in season 1.
You know what my problem with the whole thing is? It's like a situation where I recognize a pattern. I can already tell in the future what is gonna happen, because every time... Sorry, I have like some ambulance in the background. They are gone. Oh, I think it's...
Yeah.
Alright. So my problem is with them that they will say something and then deliver the exact polar opposite. And when they say they want to make the characters shine through character identity and character uniqueness, then they make like a character that had like one defensive strat or one weakness, they patch that out, and then they give everyone a stance and homogenize all the cast, but they do say it is the opposite, you know, but they do that along with everything. It's in the gameplay philosophy, it's in the balancing philosophy, it's about the community. They pretend they have good communication with the people. And what is this communication? Blocking people that will give you feedback when they ask us actively to give feedback. And then they are also asking the community to say, okay, here is Tekken 8 report. Please tell us what's wrong with the game. They keep telling them and they do the opposite, and then after some time the people get so frustrated that they become negative and toxic. And that toxicity will be brought up by specific people, including Murray, etc., that they like snipe that one comment that can make an example of, pretend as if the whole Tekken community is this and always has been, and then they call it a day. I find this just an unacceptable situation to be in at the moment, and therefore the protest or the boycott.
Yeah, so when it comes to homogenizing characters, they've chosen to buff characters in certain aspects. Or like to give them identity. Let's give them a buff here. Let's give Anna a rocket launcher, which debuffs you, blah, blah, blah. And my whole thing is, and I've said this on Heat Speaks before, nerfing characters can do just the same, if not better. If you nerf a character, it can make them shine even more. Look what happened to Clive when he got his forward plus 2 nerfed. People started using the rest of his moveset, right? And nerfs can sometimes add more to a character than they take away. So I agree with this, and I've been saying this for time, right? But you know, people are like, bro, everyone, the thing is, even Kokoma made a tweet yesterday. He's like, bro, everyone agrees on the state, for the most part, on the state of season 2. And yeah, people have different approaches on what they want to do to fix it, right? Some people will come out on Twitter and be really, really loud and say what they want to say. Some people will decide, I don't want to play the game anymore, and I want to let the devs know that I'm not playing the game anymore. Some people will leave a bad review on Steam. Everyone has their own opinion, and I'm like, do you know what? Whatever you want to do it. But because there's new issues in season 2, and because of the XTC situation, where I believe now that it's a different situation from season 1, where there's more people speaking out who were not speaking before, then more, you know, they are more inclined to hear what people are saying. I'm not saying they're going to change the game to make it perfect. You know, I'm scared. I'm thinking that you got to do a lot of patches before you fix this game, right?
You know what they need to fix before they can fix the game? They need to fix the vision. Because the problem is, when you mention something about characters, what they have done is they remove like specific things and then take that broken identity and just move it elsewhere. And they stated actively in the video they did before the patch that our vision about aggression and aggressive is not gonna change. So that is the problem. Their vision is a problem, and they need to understand that.
If they have a vision to make the game aggressive, to have an aggressively inclined game, they can do that without getting rid of what makes Tekken.
What makes Tekken defense,
right? Yes, exactly. So you can have defensive options, but the heat system, which they've implemented, is what I see as the aggressive element of the game in the direction that they wanted to go in. I have no issue with heat system. I don't have an issue with chip damage. I just have an issue with the way that characters can currently utilize them, because they're too strong. Like, look at Jack doing his make some noise like that. The chip damage is insane. Look at Anna, like she can, when she's in heat, she is just like chipping down your health, doing combo damage on chip. You know, like chip damage is not an issue, but the amount of chip damage some characters are doing, now they reduced it, but then they gave new moves to characters that are doing more chip damage, like sidestep 1+2 of Shaheen, which in itself is a very problematic move. So obviously, like this is the thing. We're having this conversation about what needs to happen. I'm like, okay, cool. Season 1 was a thing. Everyone was constructive and gave their criticism. Season 2 is its own thing now. This is a different beast, bro. So that's what I'm saying. Like, you know, talk about it, and especially now that people are going crazy with the with the tweets and with the reviews and everything, that they'll be more inclined to hear and say, okay, you know, we fucked up here. Let's have a look and see what these guys are saying. And that's what, you know, if you look at Gosain's tweet, for example, which was him, he said at the beginning, I don't think anyone's going to read this, but fuck it, might as well do it, right? I might as well say something. And he wrote about 4 pages of things that he has an issue with. And then Murray responded to it. So I'm not saying, okay, oh, Murray's the best now because he did that. But I'm saying that it's clear that they are going around. Maybe they won't say anything. And I think that that's not the best either. I would have liked to hear something from them to say, hey, we've heard your complaints, you know, and we're working on it, or something, anything, you know, because I think that would calm the community down a lot. There hasn't been any communication, right, when it comes to this situation. But at the end of the day, there are at least some constructive criticisms of season 2 and some same stuff from season 1 that at least were looked at.
Bro, I'll be honest, man. The only reason we played season 1 was in order to let the people know what's wrong, so season 2 can become good. My personal, like, subjective opinion on my feeling towards Tekken 8 was I don't like to fight against anyone anymore because the game's idea, philosophy is just ass. That's
fair enough. That's fair enough.
And I know a lot of people have that. The thing is, what I want to state is, like, this whole thing, it started with the boycott, no? That is like the main talking point from the beginning. My goal is not to fucking fuck Tekken, okay? I do just believe that sometimes you need to hit the brakes when the developers are driving it against the wall. This is my way of protesting. So
yeah, if you don't want to play the game and you want to say, look, and you want to let the devs know, I'm not playing the game. I disagree with this. I think that the direction you're going in personally is not the right way you should be going about it. So I'm not going to play. I'm going to abstain. I'm going to go to Tekken 7, Tekken 6, and I won't play Tekken 8 until it's in a position where I feel like it feels like Tekken again. It feels fun to play again. I have no issue with that, right? So in fact, I'll be like, that's absolutely within your power to do. Like, you should do something like that. Why should you play a game that you don't want to play, right? Season 1, I also had my opinions about it. I'm like, you know what? I'm 50-50. I'm like, I don't like certain aspects of it, which I'm hoping will get fixed in season 2. But the game can be fun, especially when you play offline. Online, I don't like the game at all. But when we play offline, actually I can have fun. Like most of the time I have fun, right? And a lot of other people really enjoy the game. I mean, season 1, that's the thing. That's the reason why it's important to let to tell your opinion on all aspects of the game, because everyone has different opinions. Bro, I've seen people get pissed off that there's no magic fours in the game anymore. I've seen others say fuck magic fours. So who do you listen to in that scenario, right? Everyone has their opinion. You don't like season 1. I was 50-50 kind of on it, and some people loved it. They're like, yeah, this is the best shit ever, So, but season 2, everyone is kind of in the same boat, saying it's not where you want to be, But that's the situation. That's what I see at the moment. But people telling me that I'm defending season 2. I've had to go to people and be like, bro, tell me where I defended season 2. Tell me where I said this is a good game. Tell me where I defended season 1. Like certain aspects of heat and this and that. I've openly spoke about. You've watched my heat speaks, bro. You restreamed them. You've seen what I've said, and you've seen the people I get on to say, hey, what do you think of Power Crush heat engages? What do you think of chip damage from heat dash? What do you think of this, of that? What do you think of Yoshimitsu? Like, and then I also ask them at the same time, like Ni or CBM, Ulsan, Arslan, whatever. I say, what is 1 or 2 things that would be the biggest thing that you want to change? And they'll give, everyone has their own answers. And this is like, okay, cool, we're gathering information here, right? And I'm doing that because I know that there's an issue. Do you know what I mean? And we all want the game. Me and you, are you gonna? I mean, look, do you want the game to get better in season 2?
Of course.
And I do as well. Everyone does. But the thing is that we're starting attacking each other now, because people have different opinions on certain things. But everyone has one single opinion, which is this needs to change. It can't stay the way it is right now, because otherwise you're gonna have.
Why the people are so angry? You know why the people are so angry? Because this like situation with like this is cringe, boycott is cringe, and basically attacking. This is like 6,000 people now that are there. Let's say there is 10% bots. Let's say even there's only 5,000. Let's say there's only 4,000. But when everyone at the same time, I'm not insinuating that this is coordinated. I'm just pointing out what I observe. When FDX, when Speed Kicks, when like Landon, when like the Chicken Chakra, and all the people that are somehow affiliated with Tekken in a monetary way, when they start to like attack this and use the same things, like the words like cringe and stuff like that, this just builds a certain picture, a certain narrative, and it makes them a target for the people that think that these people are trying to fuck the conversation, because a lot of them have done this for the past year. And then therefore it's like the barrel is filled, and that was that droplet. And therefore I can't accept it when people now put themselves into a situation where they are the victims now. And that is exactly my gripe with Michael Murray. They will disregard every single sentence or every comment that has an argument, and focus only on the one comment or 2 or 3 comments that use slurs, racist remarks or something. Dude, I get fucking insulted every single day, bro. But I have no victimhood complex. Like this, like we are in a discourse, and then now we are bringing now the race card into it. Now I am a victim, that guy is that. Bro, I don't condone anyone saying anything to you from your race or about Pakistan or anything like that. But this situation is annoying.
I know, but it's like, it's like, okay, you said a lot, right? So let me start from the beginning, from what you said. You said, you saw all these people make these tweets, and then you're like, it must be coordinated, right? I mean, that's just conjecture, completely conjecture.
I said,
right?
I don't want to insinuate it. I said, I just observed this. The timing was the same.
And when you observe it and talk about it, then obviously implications and inferences can be made, right? That, this must be, this could potentially be coordinated. But there was no coordination. People have their opinions. Look, Speed Kicks and Fee had very positive things to say about season 1 in Tekken 8. So I was like, shit, that's interesting. I don't really agree with them on certain aspects, so let me talk to them. So I got Speed Kicks on for my first podcast I ever did, and I said, hey, I'm surprised you like this game. I said that to him. Wallah, I said to him, you could watch the archive again. I said, I'm surprised you like this game. Like, you of all people who used to backdash all the time and play defensive, and why do you like this game? Tell me. I was interested, right? I couldn't believe it. So everyone has their own opinions, and we're all independent, but to say, okay, these guys are on the payroll and he's getting paid to say certain things, it kind of ignores all that, bro. We've been in this for years, bro, for years, I mean, I've been in situations where I saw like when Devil Jin, I said this for example on my stream. I said Devil Jin's health sweep became home, and I think Kazuya's as well. I was fucking pissed. I went online and I started getting crazy. I was like, this is the fucking dumbest shit ever, man. Like, how can you just hold your cock in your hand and think that this is okay? Like, I went like that, and then people were telling me, Spag, you know, you're a bit angry right now, but you're not saying like what is actually wrong with the hell sweep being home, and you're just pissed off.
You want to know what when it started, where the people called you Shill, or when they started to say he's getting paid? No, there was a moment. That moment started when you said that there was amazing communication with Bandai. It wasn't.
Okay, so I'll tell you about that. I'm not saying their communication's always been amazing. When I was looking at the fact that Nakatsu was responding to people when they mentioned that, oh, there's like a bug here, or there's something like there's an issue here, there's an issue here, and he'll be like, okay, looking into it. He would like actually regularly respond to people, be like, okay, we're looking into this, thanks for letting me know, blah blah blah. Then Tekken Talk as a concept, I think I really like that. I really like the fact that developers can sit on a stream and actually just like talk about what they're doing, and they even have the chat open and they'll be talking sometimes to the chat, and they'll see what the chat is saying, and they'll be like, oh, I see someone in the chat said this, actually, you know, blah 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 blah. I think that's really good. And I asked people, because I don't really play any other game but Tekken, I said, hey, do other devs actually do this as well? Do they communicate in that way? And people were telling me, nah, do you know what, this is quite I wouldn't say unique, but it's good. You know, this is like better than some of the other games that you get where devs don't really talk to their community.
Yeah,
like
getting
so like, okay,
blocked
cool.
uniquely is a heavy vibe, bro.
Hey, bro, look, if Mark and Murray's doing it, like I said, I'm not him. Okay, I'm not.
Yeah,
Mark
but you're
Murray.
talking about them right now. You're talking about them right now. You're saying who does that, and I'm saying yeah, and who does blocking.
I am talking about what you just brought up, which was before season 2. I am not talking about season 2. You can't go back and anachronistically superimpose my opinion then and bring it to now in season 2. It makes no sense. Do you see what I'm saying?
Bro, Murray has been blocking. Murray has been blocking people for years, bro. This didn't start season 2.
And Murray isn't the only developer, bro. Like, do you see what I'm saying? Like, he's not the only developer. If he's blocking people, he's well within his right to do that. But you know, I don't agree with people getting blocked if they're just being constructive about the game and saying, hey, blah, blah, blah. I don't know who he's blocking. I haven't looked at who he's blocking.
Mrs. Play stuff.
Yes, people brought that up. I don't know why I did that. I said if he blocked her just because she was being constructive, then I don't agree with it. But I don't know what you want me to say. Like, she wasn't blocked when I made that tweet. You see what I'm saying? Like, so we're bringing up a past tweet where I never explained why I said what I said, about that. And even people disagree with me. Like, Rip was like, come on, man. You know, I don't really agree with that. I was like, okay, fair enough, you know. But I just said it because of Tekken Talk and because the tweets that they make, that Nakatsu makes to, like, the people who have issues with the game with bugs and stuff. So, like, you know, the communication's been pretty good. I'm excited for Tekken Talk, blah, blah, blah. I just like the concept of Tekken Talk. I really like it, you know, for the developers to sit there in Japan and just talk about what they're going to be bringing and what they're thinking. Do you know what I'm saying? So if they want to call me a show because of that, wallah, go ahead. It doesn't matter. Yeah, no problem. Like, you can call me a show. But to sit there and say that I was defending season 2, people are saying this. People are saying you defend season 2. You want season 2. You think this game is good and da 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 da. Like, where did I say that? I said to the guy, show me where I said season 2 is good.
Yeah, obviously, when people make stuff up, it's making the whole situation laughable. That's normal.
At the end of the day, bro, we all want the game to be good. In my opinion, I was thinking, you know, if you're boycotting, that means that you're not playing the game, and maybe there'll be a portion of those people that do not want to have anything to do with that game as well. They're like, I'm gonna play Tekken 7. Call me when season 2 is good now. You know, we've tried saying our thing in season 1, it didn't work. Yeah, and I'm saying, okay, now is a good time because of the outcry, because of the people that haven't spoken before who are speaking now. Like, Nee has been way more expressive now than he's ever been in the past, right? He's constantly tweeting about how crazy the game is, right? And other people that never spoke that are speaking now, right? Because they were waiting for season 2 to make their opinion, their mind up. Well, now the whole community is on the same side. In season 1, you had people who love season 1, people who don't like season 1. You know, we had Dritten who was really pissed off, and I read his tweets and I'm like, you know what, I agree with a lot of stuff he's saying. And then there's other people who are like arguing against him that you just want to play Tekken 7. If you want to go play Tekken 7, go play Tekken 7. So there are people that love season 1 and people who don't love season 1. But now everyone's on the same page. So I'm like, okay, and with the reviews and all the stuff that's going on, all the tweets that people have said, I feel based on history, logically, that they're going to be looking at least at what people are saying, and There was a slight evidence of that based on the response to Gosain's criticism. So I'm like, guys, I don't know everything about Tekken 8, especially season 2. But maybe you would know things about Kazuya. Of course, you know things about Kazuya that I don't know about. Things that you might see as an issue. Things that you think that might be broken or OP or not OP. Then talk about it. You know, just say it. You know, even if you're gonna say, you know what, Spag, I don't think they're gonna listen. Maybe they won't. But you know what? It wouldn't hurt just to say like, okay, I don't think you guys are gonna listen. But here is what my issues are. Again, because now everyone's been crying out. I'm hoping you guys will see it this time. That's all I was saying. I was like, just do that. Just try to be critical now in this situation because it's different now than it was 2 months ago. Do you see what I'm saying?
My problem is that this like focusing on character specific situations, we are past that point. Now it's just a system thing. We need to just focus on the broad situation. I can't like take a magnifying glass and go into frames on characters if I'm playing Super Smash 8. Like this
You don't
game,
have to.
like but I'm just saying, when I want to criticize the game, I am beyond that. I criticize one character or an interaction. I'm criticizing.
That was an example.
Now,
you don't have to criticize one character. I'm saying criticize everything if you want to. Like for example, okay, I just said this on Twitter just now. Victor up forward 1-1. It's an example, right? It's a punish that gives him the perfume of 1+2 for free. You have to block it. Something like that is toxic. And I'm not going and playing Super Smash Bros. And just dissecting one character. I'm saying this character, these two characters have something very messed up, which I don't want other characters to get. So don't do this. Get rid of it for this character, but also don't add it in for other characters. Let's say Kazuya has something which no other character has, like a 10-frame guard break. I wouldn't say that it's dissecting and playing Super Smash Bros. If you go on Twitter and say, hey, as a Kazuya main, don't do this. You know, because I don't want other characters to have this as well. This is not good for the game. So what I'm saying is you don't have to. And even if you have an issue with the system, like I personally don't have an issue with the system, but I have more issue with the characters abusing the system. Do you see what I mean? So if you have an issue with the system, that's absolutely your fault. That's your opinion. Go ahead and I said, try and talk about it. You know, again, you've done it before. I know you've done it before because you do it on your stream all the time. You do it on Twitter. But I'm saying now it's a different situation to a month ago. So do it, you know. That's what I've been trying to tell people. That don't just like go and play another game and say, okay, I don't want anything to do with this. You could do that, absolutely. I've already said I support.
Okay, but we both agree on that a red line is now reached, and the next situation is gonna make or break the game. Yes or no?
I think that yeah, like if now with how pissed off everyone is, with the way that all of us, including myself, was saying that the game needs to needs these changes and stuff, and looking objectively at how many people are angry if they make changes now, which obviously I don't think that in the next patch everything's going to be fixed. I don't think it's possible, right? Or in the next 2 patches. But if they make patches which seem to be going in a decent direction in terms of nerfing characters, that for me I feel like nerfing characters is the biggest thing to do, then I feel like people will be more inclined to be like, okay, cool, we're getting to a situation where we want to be, So of course it's important. Like if you're asking me if they buff characters in the next patch, will people just be done with it? I mean, yeah, people are going to be very angry if they buff characters at this point. Why wouldn't they?
Fair enough.
Yeah. And obviously I'll say again, my tweet wasn't worded well because it makes it look like I'm having an issue with people who haven't organized protest, And if you want to go in on me for that, cool, because that was a badly worded tweet, fine, fair enough, man. And if you don't believe me, then wallah, don't believe me. You don't have to, no problem. If you want to hate on me and call me Shill and this, that, the other for the rest of my life, no problem, If you think that I'm playing victim now because people were being racist to me yesterday, then okay, whatever, no problem, I've had people be racist to me where I've not even brought it up, actually content creators that have a lot of subscribers, more than me, have been, I got screenshots of them being very racist to me. Like, I don't even know who they are at that point. And I didn't put it on Twitter and say, hey, blah, blah, blah. Most of the time, I don't. Most of the time, people are racist to me. And you get this, you said you get it a lot. I get it a lot, Paki, this and that, terrorist, blah,
yeah, but
blah,
I
blah.
don't tweet about it. I just ignore it.
Neither do I. But I'm saying that but yesterday, I'm like, you know what? If you're doing this just because of this situation, then that's kind of mad. That's it. But people do it all the time. I know there are just racist people out there, 100%. And if people want to think that I'm being a victim about it, then khalas, bro, that's fine, no problem. I can't change their opinion. And I feel like there's a lot of people who may be watching your stream and people that are going to be out there that are not going to change their mind on me. No problem. But I'm talking to you because I've seen you, and we've been in each other's streams and stuff. So I'm talking to you about this situation because you obviously have looked at my stuff and you're like, okay, this doesn't make sense. And you know what? I wasn't clear. So hopefully this made it clear. And we'd have to agree with each other, by the way. But one thing we do agree on is that we want season 2 to be better. We want it to get to a situation where we're all happy, because people are happy.
We have to see where it goes from here. Like, I am open for every eventuality. I am a reactive person. So what is gonna happen, that is gonna dictate how I react towards it. So that's all I can say.
No problem. It's all good. All right, then.
All right.
Yeah, no problem, bro. I'm gonna jump off, yeah? But if there's anything else you want to talk about, bro,
all
let
good.
me know.
All right.
Safe.
In a bit.